Fast cars, bright lights, welcome to practice here in Las Vegas. Let's get this sensational show on the road.
And if today's practice is...
had to spend time repairing the damage to the car.
And that's it. Practice is officially over. Sadly, it's time to say goodbye as free practice is over. However, we'll be back shortly. Stand by to see cars at more than 210 miles an hour blasting their way down the strip. F1 has taken over. It's F1 Fever, Las Vegas. Well, that wraps up qualifying, but don't worry, we'll be back tomorrow as we head into the Grand Prix. Welcome along to Las Vegas. It's Viva Las Vegas tonight. I can't wait to see what this place has in store for F1 tonight. "17 corners, 3 straights, 2 DRS zones and the glitz and glamour of Las Vegas as we race around the 3.8 miles of Sin City. The strip has been taken over to become a straight tonight, commanding top speeds of around 212 miles an hour. Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. Lando Norris put in a fantastic lap yesterday and he'll start from pole position. And it's Charles Leclerc in P2. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Sainz, Verstappen, Fernando Alonso, Hamilton, Russell, Stroll, Gasly, Hülkenberg, Ocon, Tsunoda, Albon, Oscar Piastri, Perez, Bottas, Joe, Magnussen, Ricciardo, and Logan Sargent. It's almost time for those 5 red lights to go out then. Let's see who can prevail today. And alongside me, a man, well, what more can I say? But he's a legend, Anthony Davidson. Now, we had great fun watching them win last time out. What a great victory it was. But can they carry that into today's race?
It's the important one, isn't it, Crofty? You've done it once, can you do it again? But, you know, if you start believing in yourself and the confidence starts to build, that inner confidence is what you need. And you can carry that through to future races, including this one, and you set that ball rolling. That's the critical thing that they're looking for here. And I believe if you've got that first race win or a win at any stage, it can start to roll with you in a good way.
Okay, we've reached a worrying level of wear on the internal combustion engine. Let's try and keep the revs down. Early upshifts, later downshifts, please. Okay, we're hitting the rated limits on the MGUH. The power unit is going to be more prone to overheating. DRS is being enabled this lap. We can use DRS when you're within 1 second of the car ahead and in the DRS zone. Look out for a bit of understeer when trailing the car ahead. They're going to be giving off dirty air, which is going to affect our tyres, so try to get past. Okay, no issues with tyre wear for now. Keep taking care of them. Okay, Lando, sights ahead. We don't want to let this hold us up too long, so do your best to get past and get on with the race. Okay, nice work. Really good job with that target, mate. Turbocharger's on its last legs. Let's try to keep mileage on it to a minimum. the final lap of the race. Final lap.
Let's go, baby. Good job.
And it's Monaco go for Charles Leclerc as he takes the checkered flag and wins.
To witness such mastery of these conditions, these changeable conditions that we saw today, is very impressive indeed. So a huge congratulations to this driver for taking victory today.
Looking at the podium, you can see that red suit familiar to fans across the globe. A world-class win for a world-class team. Ferrari, do it again. It's been an absolutely wild weekend of Formula One action, and I can't wait to see what's next.
Still a voyage of discovery here in Qatar. The teams and drivers will be looking to find out plenty more about a circuit that was built for two wheels rather than four.
What an incredible practice session that was. It's all about flow and pace today, qualifying in Qatar, a high-speed test that will set the grid for tomorrow's race. So welcome along. Welcome to today's sprint. This is shaping up to be another fantastic weekend. We're back here in Losail for a track that's 3.34 miles long. There are 16 turns around its unique three-prong shape and just a single DRS zone out of turn 16. It's fast and it's flowing, and there's a good overtaking opportunity with DRS down the long straight and into turn 1. Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks for today's sprint. Lando Norris put in a fantastic lap yesterday, and he'll start from pole position, edging out Max Verstappen, who'll start from P2. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Fernando Alonso, Leclerc, Sainz, Stroll, Russell, Perez, Hamilton, Oscar Piastri, Albon, Gasly, Ocon, Ricciardo, Tsunoda, Hülkenberg, Bottas, Sargent, Magnussen, and Zhou Guanyu. Which of these drivers will get pole position today? We'll soon find out. And alongside me today, former Formula One driver and former world champion too. See, told you I'll give you a big intro. Anthony Davidson, hello. Well, they say that a change is as good as a rest, and whilst there's not much rest on show in the sprint format today, there's definitely a change to what we're usually seeing on the track. Now, you're the racing driver in this partnership, so tell us about this racing driver. Put us in their shoes. How are they going to be feeling?
Well, you've got to be prepared, Crofty. Before you even step foot inside the car, you've got to know, you've got to have a pre-race game plan. You've watched videos before you get into the car of previous races gone by. You know where you have to place your car if X, Y or Z happens in front of you or behind you. So having this clear game plan is absolutely essential before you get in the car.
Okay, we've reached a worrying level of wear on the internal combustion engine. Let's try and keep the revs down. Early upshifts, later downshifts, please. Okay, we're hitting the rated limits on the MGUH. The power unit is going to be more prone to overheating. Okay, DRS will be enabled this lap. You can use it when you're within 1 second of the car ahead and in the DRS zone. Okay, mate, final lap. Keep your concentration and let's bring it home. Turbocharger's on its last legs. Let's try to keep mileage on it to a minimum.
So that wraps up the sprint race, but there's still more action yet to come this weekend. We've got qualifying and, of course, the Grand Prix. It's all about flow and pace today, qualifying in Qatar, a high-speed test that will set the grid for tomorrow's race. So welcome along. Welcome back to Qatar, and the desert sands of time are running out this season for some of our drivers. Lights out are just moments away. This, the fourth race in the Middle East. So we're back here in Lusail, and this is the track map. 3.34 miles, 16 turns, and just one DRS zone out of turn 16. It's already a fast and flowing track after all. There's a good overtaking opportunity with DRS, though, through the long straight and into turn 1. It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Lando Norris will lead us away from pole position, and Max Verstappen lines up alongside. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Fernando Alonso, Leclerc, Russell, Sainz, Stroll, Hamilton, Perez, Oscar Piastri, Albon, Tsunoda, Gasly, Ocon, Bottas, Magnussen, Ricciardo, Hülkenberg, Sargent, and Zhou Guanyu. Which of these talented drivers will come out on top today? And alongside me today, a man small in stature but big on comment, Anthony Davidson. Hello. Now, I'll be generous here. It's not that long ago that you were racing and entertaining us on a Sunday. But in the years since, the sport has changed quite a bit, hasn't it?
Yeah, it really has, Crofty. You know, the cars have got bigger, they're heavier, but critically, there's more downforce to play with as well now. There was around 4 tons of downforce on the car at 300 kilometres an hour when I drove. You're now looking more towards 5 tons of downforce. So there's a big difference in performance. But because of that, the car being heavier and bigger, you've got to drive in a smoother way. You've got to look after it a bit more. You've got to nurse it through the slow speed corners more. They were much more nimble, agile machines when I drove in Formula 1 compared to now.
Okay, so I know we've already won the championship, it's amazing, but it's not time to switch off yet. We can relax in this race, but I want you to enjoy it. I also want a strong result. Okay, we've reached a worrying level of wear on the internal combustion engine. Let's try and keep the revs down. Early upshifts, later downshifts, please. Okay, we're hitting the rated limits on the MGUH. The power unit is going to be more prone to overheating. Now use DRS now available. Experience some understeer now that you're in the wake of the car ahead. Try to get past as soon as possible. Great work, that's a new fastest lap of the race. Okay, Lando, Verstappen's ahead of you. Right, here we go. Let's look to get past quickly and put them on the back foot. Oh mate, you made that look easy. Nice work. That's why I love working with you. Smashed it. have some front wing damage, but not enough to justify a stop in the remaining laps. Gap to your teammate behind, 6.3 seconds. Turbocharger's on its last legs. Let's try to keep mileage on it to a minimum. Final lap, push, push.
Comes. It's all go, go, go for Lando Norris as he takes the checkered flag and wins.
And that's 2 wins in a row now, of course, Crofty. And it marks the fact that it's not a fluke. So, you know, their head's in the right space. What more can we see going forwards?
And look at that, they're making their way out onto the podium now. Great race from the McLaren team, and I'm very happy to see them there on that top step of the podium. After an event like that, who knows what the sport has in store for us next time out? Be sure to join us once again as we continue to bring you all the excitement of Formula One.
Okay, all the new parts have been fabricated and we're going to have...
Welcome to the fourth race in the Middle East and the final one of the season. It's Abu Dhabi and it's time for the final practice session.
Got front wing damage, recommend you box for a new one. Box now. Car repairs have set us back a little.
And if today's practice is anything to go by, and that's it. Practice is officially... Sadly, it's time to say goodbye as free practice is over. However, we'll be back shortly for more Formula One action. Welcome along, everybody. It's the fastest day of the week, qualifying Saturday, and we're here in Abu Dhabi. With qualifying wrapped up now, we have our grid lineup for the... It's the final chapter of the season then here at the spectacular Yas Marina circuit. It's a race where the pole sitter failed to finish in 3 of the first 4 events. A front row start here is by no means a guarantee of victory. So we go into battle once more then as we get underway at the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. We have 16 corners here at Yas Marina circuit, 7 to the right and 9 to the left. It's a total lap distance of 3.28 miles. 2 long straights and overtaking opportunities throughout the lap. And we expect average speeds of around 123 miles per hour. It's time to take a look at our starting grid for today's race. Lando Norris put in a fantastic lap yesterday and he'll start from pole position, with Charles Leclerc alongside. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Verstappen, Russell, Fernando Alonso, Oscar Piastri, Hamilton, Sainz, Stroll, Perez, Gasly, Albon, Ocon, Hülkenberg, Bottas, Magnussen, Tsunoda, Ricciardo, Sargent, and Zhou Guanyu. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track. And alongside me today is a man who needs no introduction, but I'll try anyway. It's Ant Davidson.
I don't know about you, Ant, but it seems like only a couple of weeks ago we were talking ahead of the first race. Here we are ahead of the last race. This year has just flown by.
Yeah, a lot of races to cover these days in Formula One, Crofty, as you well know, doing them all yourself. But it's the same for the drivers. It comes at you thick and fast, and you've got to pace yourself as well to get to this point in the season. If it has gone your way, it's a great time to just enjoy it. There's nothing that can change in the championship pecking order, of course. If you've won the championship already, go out and enjoy this race and send yourself off through the winter break. If it's been a bit of a year to forget, you can try and take a bit of solace in this Grand Prix, end on a high and carry that energy into next season.
Okay, so I know we've already won the championship, and it's amazing, but it's not time to switch off yet. We can relax in this race, but I want you to enjoy it. I also want a strong result. Okay, we've reached a worrying level of wear on the internal combustion engine. Let's try and keep the revs down. Early upshifts, later downshifts, please. DRS is being enabled this lap. We can use DRS when you're within 1 second of the car ahead and in the DRS zone. watch out for understeer in the wake of the car ahead. Try to get past as quickly as you can. Push, push. Okay, we're hitting the rated limits on the MGUH. The power unit is going to be more prone to overheating. Right, we're seeing a loss of power from the turbocharger now. Loss of power on the turbo. Okay, Lando, Leclerc ahead. We can't let them hold us up for too long, so let's try and get past as soon as possible and crack on. Push, push. Great stuff. It looked like you made easy work of that target. Let's try and keep that going right through to the end of the race. Okay, Leclerc's just set the fastest lap of the race so far. Okay, final lap. Let's go. Final lap. The car behind is dropping back by about 0.3 a lap. Well done.
Yeah, well, boys. Is that 3 in a row now?
Here's the checkered flag, and our winner has Landoed. It's Lando Norris for victory.
And 3 wins in a row now, of course, Croft. You've thrown the gauntlet down. The drivers are out there now. They realise that they are the target. They're the ones to beat. They've got the energy. They've got the momentum on their side.
Our drivers are making their way out for the podium celebrations, and it's going to be McLaren picking up the winner's trophy. Congratulations to the entire team for that fantastic performance. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is a wrap. What a season it's been. I'm off to put my feet up now before it all starts again next year. Take care.